Hi, Anthony. Welcome to Tea Time with Ali Monjack. So, how you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Yeah,
Good.
really good.
So, I've
Enjoying the lovely weather.
yeah, it has been amazing, hasn't it, at the moment?
Yeah.
It's been,
It's made the last couple of months a little bit easier.
it has. I think so. No, you're definitely right. Sunshine always brightens up everybody's life.
Yeah.
And you have basically been also brightening up everybody's life by doing a dance class every Sunday, so I've heard. So
Every Sunday, yeah. I have a dance background, and we all worked for Dougie Squires. And about 5 years ago, someone suggested that we did a reunion, which is my real pet hate. So I said, well, look, let's do one, but let's do it differently. Let's try and get some of the dancers back together again, and we'll do a warm-up, and we'll do a class. That'll put people off. Well, we did do it, and 150 turned up because Dougie had formed a group called the Young Generation for the BBC, and then following on that, the Second Generation. So he had worked with a lot of dancers over the years, and through Facebook and social media, we all sort of started getting back in touch with everyone, which was great to see everyone's life and what they've been up to and all that bit. Anyway, so we booked a studio at Dance Attic, and it was magic. It was the minute everyone came back in, we all went back to how we were when we were in our 20s. And then after that first class, it was lovely, and everybody said, oh, I wish we could do it again. And then it prompted me to do it once a month. And we then meet up in London once a month. We got to then do, Dougie was directing and producing Dame Vera Lynn, 100th birthday at the Palladium. And I said to Dougie, we used to work with Vera. Wouldn't it be nice if we just did, maybe a number for the television section? He said, great idea. So I asked the dancers, if they wanted to do it, thinking about 20 would want to perform again. 90 wanted to perform again.
Wow.
So we had 90 in the show, and it's meant an awful lot to an awful lot of people. Do you know what I mean? To perform again, and because you don't give up on. Dance gives up on you, if you know what I mean. In the work, you get a bit older, and people go different directions, and girls have families, and so do boys, and so it sort of takes that performance out that you never lose. Anyway, so we've been meeting every month for the last 4 years now, and it's great to see new people come in and meet friends. They fly in from I think LA and Australia, and people come in just for the class. It's amazing. So then when this virus happened, I thought, well, to cheer everyone up, I'd do a Sunday class live in my little studio here. And it sort of has caught on, and I do it every week now for my sins. But it's great fun. And then we do a Zoom chat afterwards. And yeah, it's good. It's good fun. And I think it's made everyone happy. And
well, I have heard some good reports, I have to say. I mean, it's been a really strange time for all of us, hasn't it? Not being able to have that social interaction. So to be able to carry on doing a dance class over Zoom must be amazing. I mean,
it's very strange because I'm in my unit here, and you've got your camera up, and you sat and you think, is anybody watching? Am I doing this all on my own? Do you know what I mean? It's really fun because I tried it on Zoom where I saw everybody, and it was just chaos. So we found another system to work it. So I do a warm up, and then we do a routine in an hour and a half. So it's hard going because I get no feedback. So that's the hardest thing. Do you know what I mean? So you miss the feedback from all the dancers, and but I keep going, and they seem to have fun afterwards, and try and change the theme each week and different styles. But the other thing that's really hard choreographically is that I know everyone's got a limited space in their living rooms. So when you see all these dance videos of everybody, doing these classes, you go, yeah, but reality, people haven't got that room to do it in. So you have to really contain it. Otherwise, their chandelier's broken or table's broken. I think we've had a few mishaps. I did one number with a towel, And we were doing it going to wash that man right out of my hair. Found a really funky version, but as I was flicking the towel about, of course, there's a few damages in vases, I think. So it's good fun. It's good fun.
Oh dear. So you have caused some destruction along the way.
Yeah, as ever, as ever.
Oh no, that sounds good to me. So I mean, it's really been, as we said, such a strange time of year for everybody, and
yeah,
you know, normally,
and our industry suffers more than most because you know we are extreme and we are, you know, we are the entertainment side, which is, you know, always the last to come back, but the most needed in a funny way to lift everybody's spirits and, you know, keep everyone going. But it is quite frightening, you know, that how many people are involved in shows and things. And, you know, thank God the government at the last stage, you know, sort of saw into what the arts bring to the country, you know, so it's very important what's been done. But I hope all the dancers who have left colleges this year, you know, I feel so sorry for them. You know, the future is sort of bleak for the next 6 months, really. I mean, I think it's moving more and more forward each day that it's, you know, that we can now open and do things. So hopefully the auditions will start and everyone will have a fair crack at finding their new, you know, careers. But it was soul destroying for all the students. I mean, there was classes going, Zoom must have been steaming at the sides with all the colleges, you know, doing the third years last year. You know, I felt so sorry for them, but bless them, you know. They can survive this, they can survive anything.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And, you know, I think, you know, obviously you've brought a sort of key element to the party by putting this on Zoom so that people can still be involved, take part, not feel like they're on their own, because dance is such an expressive thing anyway, isn't it? Don't you agree? I mean, you must do it. I mean, how did you get into dance in the first place?
Well, when I was a young boy, my sisters went dancing, and I used to dance around the house to the annoyance of my father and my elder brother. I used to prance about all the time, copying what my sisters did. Then when I was 5, I had a very bad car accident. I was knocked over, and I was in hospital, and a big scar and big, you know, sort of bandages on my head. And I went very shy, and they thought if I went and got lessons in dance, I wouldn't like it. The opposite happened. I was totally in love with my dance teacher, Miss Mavis Butler, and that's when my dancing started, and I loved it. And then I was not, maybe it's because I was a boy, I did very well in competitions, which were great fun all over the country, you know. Used to meet friends from all different schools, and it was a lovely, I had an amazing childhood. And then when I was 13, I was spotted in the All England Dance Championships and asked to go and audition for Gypsy. And I did, and I got in the original cast with Angela Lansbury, and Bonnie Langford was 8 and I was 13. So that was in 1973. So I did Gypsy for 6 months. Because I didn't go to a stage school, I was able to stay a lot longer than the other children who had gone to Italia Conti or Corona and stuff. So after that, I went back to school, very miserable, because, you know, I just spent 6 months in the West End and I loved every single second of it. And then I went back to training, and then I was auditioned for Bugsy Malone, and I did the film Bugsy Malone when I was 15. And at 16, I was awarded a scholarship to go to Lane Theatre Arts, which is Betty Lane's.
Let's stop you there, Anthony. What part were you in Bugsy Malone?
I auditioned very late, actually, so I just got one of the dancing parts, and so when I joined the film, I stayed on till the end. It was because it was done from a lot of the military schools around the country, and also the stage schools like Conti's in Corona and Barbara Speaks and stuff. So because I wasn't in that area, you know, you didn't really have a chance getting into many shows and things. So when I did join them, I was very lucky. I got on very well with the choreographer Gillian Gregory, and I've still kept friends with people, you know, that when we did the custard pies. I can't face synthetic cream, because when we did the mud, the pies, oh, it was on us for like 3 days. The smell of it just makes me not happy. But it was such good fun. It really was good fun. It was an amazing time. I was very, very lucky.
Would you say though that it's the same as it was then? Because you basically started out in a showbiz family that has kind of grown with you, and then obviously Dougie as well. So I mean, do you think it's different now? I mean, do you think the films and the dance is as fabulous as it was, or do you think it's changed over the years?
I think it was much more naive in my day. We didn't have social media. We didn't have telephones, mobiles, all these screens, learning on computers. We didn't have any of that. It was very simple. You learned from a book or you watched a film. My inspiration was Gene Kelly always, so if there was a Gene Kelly film on a Sunday, that was me. I studied and loved him because he was a man dancing. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't effeminate in any way, and he broke the barriers for me that you can be a man and you can dance. So Gene Kelly was my hero. I think that the training today is amazing. I think but I think they are missing, which is very strange. When we do the class, we have a whole generation of different generations of ages, ranging from 75, I think is the oldest, to about 16. And the older dancers that I worked with outshine the dancers of today, because we knew how to perform, and that's something that's really got to work on the youngsters. Technically, they are amazing, but they've got to feel it. Do you know what I mean? So, Dougie, when we all worked with Dougie, the one thing he did, no matter what standard you were pushed to your limit. So and you were individual, and that's why we all liked working for Dougie. We weren't one of 18 people all being robots and being the same. He allowed you to be individual, and that was the magic of the group. Girls, some girls had long blonde hair, some girls had short hair. You were tall, short. It was amazing, and he cut. Do you know what I mean? It was an international company, and we all got on, and we still do today. So that was the magic of it. So I'm sorry that the young kids today don't have the work offer that we had. Doing a television series, you learnt your craft very quickly. You would learn 6 routines a week and then record it on a Saturday, start again on the Sunday. Do you know what I mean? For the next week. So it was fantastic training, and Dougie pushed you to your limits, and one minute you're working with, in those days, there was 26 of us. So it was amazing. And then we were very lucky. We had a show in the south of France, in Cannes, at the Palm Beach Casino, where we had our own show, which we used to do at 11 o'clock at night outside. The backdrop was the Mediterranean. It was our show, and it was just amazing to have that experience, and to just what we learned all our craft for was you changed far quick changes, everything, and it was very, very special. And the young dancers today don't get shows like that, so I do feel sorry for them. And to work with Dougie, who pushed you, they all need a kick in the backside sometimes.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure, we all do in anything that we do, but it's quite a discipline, isn't it? It's not just the case of just going out there and having a boogie or a movement. It is an actual.
It's much more technical than people think. It's very technical now. The training is sublime. I see these college, kids after 3 years, and you just go, wow, they are amazing. Yeah. Fantastic for them. And but now you can't just dance. You've got to be able to sing and act. You've got to be and this is what this period's taught us, I think. It's been great to see some of the students that I've seen develop other areas, so that when they're not working, they're doing something, a lot of teaching, a lot of doing, creative things. So that, that's what we all do. But it's good to see that the young ones have done that as well.
Yeah, I mean, because you work with students regularly, don't you? And young people, dancers, when you put on shows, you know, you're working at
Yeah.
Olympia or you're working, you know, the Windsor Pageant, you know, like we were all there last year, actually, weren't we? So
it was sad we didn't do it this year. We were very upset we didn't do it because
well,
we had planned one and unfortunately got cancelled. But it's going to be bigger and better next year, so that's what we're looking forward to.
what do you
And
know? What Anthony, I keep saying, fingers crossed. You know, I keep saying that everybody should rest up because next year is going to be mad. We're going to be, you know, booked to the rafters, busy doing things. It really is. But let's talk about, you know, also, I mean, you've had a full career as a dancer. So, I mean, you were also in a BBC program, Count Me In, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, that happened. So when I was 16, I was at college and there weren't any other boys there, so it didn't really help me a great deal. So I asked Miss Lane if I could go to an audition for, my dream job was to be in the young generation because that's what I aspired to as a youngster. And I went to the audition and got it. And I did my first TV at 16. And funny enough, it was Dame Vera Lynn, who was the star of the show. And then after that, I then thought, you know, I want to be an all-rounder. So I worked a lot with Lena Zavaroni and did her act. And then I went into Derby Playhouse and did some rep. So I wanted to act as well. You know, I just didn't want to dance. I wanted to learn my craft. I wanted to learn how you do things from, you know, from stage management to everything. So I sort of did that for two years. And then I auditioned for Dougie and I worked for him. And then I became his, you know, after about 3-4 years, I became his assistant. And we went around the world and, you know, did television shows everywhere. And then I started working with BBC TV training. And because I'd got on very well with producers on a show I had done at the BBC. And I met a trainee director called Pippa Dyson. And we got on really well. And I choreographed a film that she was creating for the BBC. And then she started working with children's television. And they saw me and said, we want to give out, they tried me out on Play School, so I did a bit of Play School. And then the Cynthia Felgate, who was head of children's, said, we want to give Antony a series about music and dance and how you can do children's activities and put it to music. So I did that, which was fantastic. It was great fun. Although it comes to haunt me because I had long hair at the time and clips keep appearing, which I'm just, you know, it's just mortifying. And then I did a series also for children for Thames Television called Wall Games, where it was, you know, do you remember children's wooden bricks? They were like that. Well, we had giant size ones and we used to create stories with the children and make a 2-minute play. So I did that for 2 years, and then I did It's Wicked and I did quite a few of those, you know, sort of Saturday morning shows, which I had great fun. But I really wanted to choreograph then, so I started doing a lot of choreography of the ships and pantomimes and shows, and then from there.
How old were you by then?
I was 25 when I did the children's program, so that sort of lasted me till I was about 30, and then I went into I did pantomimes as well. So I did pantomimes and I did Peter Pan, and someone came and saw me in Peter Pan in Brighton and then made me learn it in German and Czechoslovakian to do it on television. So I learned the whole thing in German. And it was a killer, that was. So I've been really lucky, you know. I've done some crazy things.
I've got a very funny question. When you did some work on Play School, did you look through the round window?
I did. The very first thing on Play School was, my first line was, and this, it's really hard saying hello. I don't know if you've ever had that problem. You, when you go, hello, I'm Anthony, you go, oh, I can't say it like that. You go, hello, and then, no, I can't do it. I had this big thing about, because play school, you never had time to redo something. It was like straight on, you know. And we devised, oh, that was it. My first one was a Christmas card. And I thought, you know, like all the Blue Peter presenters, I thought, you know, when they made things and then brought them into the studio for everyone to, I thought that's how it worked. So when they said, Anthony, you're going to be a Christmas card, and any ideas? I said, well, we could have a Christmas dancing tree and a Christmas snowman, and then I'll make them come to life, and, you know, we'll have a little Christmas dance. And oh, that's perfect. So that night I went home and I drew me as a little boy. I drew a Christmas tree dancing, and I drew a snowman, and then I put it all on the paper, and I thought, well, if I do them as like collages, I can then stick them on the painting into the music and then bleed through from the picture thing. And when I went in, they all went, oh, how sweet, you know, because I'd done it. I'd been up all night doing this stupid thing where, you know, I didn't realize that they had graphic people to do these sort of things. So when I went to do it, I was then, you know, when you do the glue and you go, and I did it all to music, which was the most crazy thing. Yeah, so I had a bit for each piece of music, and as I did it, all the glue was sticking, and then you went straight into the dance, so it was quite fun. But I think my first line was, hello, I'm Anthony. I have 2 balls. And I burst out laughing because one was rubber and one was leather. And I just, you know, it was, so yeah. When I got over that, it was fine. But because you have to be careful what you know, everything's got a double meaning, hasn't it? So, absolutely. Yeah. So that was my play school.
What you say on TV as well. Yeah, definitely. So I think, though, it's probably fair to say that, you know, Ofcom rules were not quite as strict as they are now in some ways.
And people didn't complain as much, did they? You used to get nice letters. You know, people used to write nice letters to you. But that's social media, isn't it? You know, everyone can be, you know, get to you now, which is, you know, interesting. Yeah.
No, it is interesting. You're absolutely right. So we were also talking about when you actually made that leap out of TV and into choreography.
Yeah, I really learned from Dougie an awful lot. He was, and I do it totally opposite to Dougie. He's because of his television career, he plans everything. So I'm the opposite. I feed off of who I'm in the room with. He uses his guide as a guide, but I have to know the music, and I have to know what they're wearing. That's why I got involved in costumes and everything, because I did a show as a dancer, and I worked for a great choreographer, and when we put the costumes on, we had to change everything. And I was like, oh, I will never choreograph not knowing what you're working in, because at the last minute, when you have to change everything, we had these big leather collars, and I always say, a dancer, the best performance really is when you're the last rehearsal you have, when you're in your own shoes, your body, you're sweating, your body's at top, you know, at the top of its peak, and there's nothing like that last rehearsal, because you haven't got to worry about your hair or your makeup, or, you know, and to me it's the most thrilling moment, that last rehearsal, because then when you get into costumes it gets restricting, do you know what I mean, and you're thinking about quick changes and all that. So I love that last bit of that. So I have to know what everybody's wearing when I choreograph, so that I don't have to change it. So I was very lucky. We, as a group, we all worked for a company called Trends, which was run by Jamie Phillips, and Jamie was our agent as well. So it was a family for me, and as I started choreographing, I started working an awful lot with Jamie behind the scenes, how to run the agency and how to run this and how costumes actually work. And I worked with a lot of great people, designers. I mean, like Linda Martin, who used to design for the BBC, and Mark Cantor, who used to do all Dan LaRue's costumes and do all our showgirl costumes. So I worked with the best, and so that taught me about costumes. And then the choreography and costumes and productions and pantomimes, you know, sort of, I was really lucky. I could never, that's why I could never do a West End show, because I knew I couldn't repeat myself after a month. I take my hat off to all those performers who can do a 6 months contract of the same show every night. I couldn't do it because I had television training where you learned something all the time, every day, something new. It inspired you. Do you know what I mean? So I did do one West End show, and it was it didn't last very long. It was called The Magic Castle, which we turned it to The Tragic Castle. It was a magic show, but we only did it for about 3-4 months, which was fine, because you as a performer, you reach the areas of your peak of where you can go with that character or that, you know, dance routine, you know, and then it's repeating, and I wasn't a repeater, you know. I liked something new and interesting. So, you know, I learned my craft by going around seeing the summer seasons and doing some and choreographing them, and yeah, I was really lucky. And then later on, after, unfortunately, Jamie passed away, and he became ill, and I took the company over from him. And I had it in London for a while, but the industry was changing. You know, the BBC was moving to Manchester, and at that time, I was very lucky. I started working at Blackpool and at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and I had the attitude of, oh, Blackpool, you know, hideous. But I worked for the Thompson family, and they had shows with a cast of 40 skaters and magic show with 20. They were really pushing entertainment to its full value, which knocked me out sideways. So I was very honoured to do a show called Mystique, and I really enjoyed it. And so I then worked with them for 10 years and created a show called Eclipse, which was like the English version of Cirque du Soleil, really. And everyone was very helpful, and amazing costume department there as well. So I had my London company, there was Blackpool, so I used to go between the two. And then Mr. Thompson, who ran the Pleasure Beach, passed away, and his daughter took over. And at a point I said, London was changing. I mean, it really was changing drastically. Entertainment was, you know, the entertainment of light entertainment had really stopped, which was our bread and butter. So I then thought, you know, maybe I should go up to Blackpool for 2 years and, you know, see if I can help, you know, with the shows, because there were big shows there. And I did go up, and instead of 2 years, I lasted 9 years, 3 months, and 22 days, and became creative director, which I learned a lot more. I learned about marketing and PR, and how you do a hotel, and how you design a ride. And, you know, I gave my all, and it was a very, very interesting time, and worked with some fabulous people that, you know, are still friends today. So I'm still passionate about Blackpool. You know, it's got a bad reputation, but it, you know, it really isn't. And there's something about it that, you know, I still miss today. You know, I miss my friends up there, and, you know, it's a great place, and it really is passionate about entertainment. You know, so and then
been, hasn't it? Really, it has. It's like, you know, the trip, the Light Fantastic in Blackpool, isn't it? It always has had that status.
Yeah.
Really, I think.
I mean, there's something horrendous about it and something wonderful about it. Do you know what I mean? I choreographed one show, and the audience afterwards was so lovely to the dancers that I thought, you know, this is what it's all about. This is the real people who actually pay and see our shows, who were so complimentary and so kind, that I thought, you know, this is what it's about. Do you know what I mean? So I've got a very soft spot for Blackpool, and I learned an awful lot. And it is a great place. You know, people are hungry there. They're always creating or developing something, you know, whether they're in the arts or whether they're in, you know, design or building, or, you know, everyone's passionate about work and hard work. That's what I loved about it.
Yeah, and also I think, you know, Blackpool is renowned, along with, you know, Brighton and other peers across, you know, the country, to have had, you know, you really were making it at one point, weren't you, in the entertainment world, when you could hold a show on a pier. You
Yeah.
know, and that was sort of like, you know, the culture of the time as well, wasn't it?
And the history of Blackpool as well. I mean, the tower is the most beautiful building. And Winter Gardens, and of course the Pleasure Beach is steeped in over 100 years of entertainment. You know, and it's fascinating learning all about, you know, how the rides were created. Like the ice rink was the original tank was at the Grosvenor Hotel. You know where they do all the BAFTAs and all those award shows,
Yeah.
and it steeps down into stairs. That was an ice rink. Leonard Thompson bought that ice rink and took it up to Blackpool. So it's the oldest ice arena in the UK, and spectacular shows have been going on there since 1936. You know, so the Pleasure Beach history of entertainment is phenomenal. So it was quite a privilege to work there. I came back and came back south, and I you know, Dougie was getting a bit older, and he was directing and devising royal shows and royal events. So I sort of stepped in and helped him, and that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years. So it's been fantastic, really. It's been an amazing time.
You've been doing for the last couple of years, my goodness. You've done absolutely loads, and you do. I can see that spectacular costume behind you. What's that costume?
I'm just working. I've got all these Christmas shows lined up. Fingers crossed they're all going to happen. So, you know, you start planning now, because you have to work like 6 months ahead, you know. So I'm sort of planning Christmas and working out if we're doing the horse show, what the finale will be, what costumes I'll do, you know. So it all you never stop thinking. Do you know what I mean? That's the great thing about our business. You know, you're always on to the next thing, and it's exciting, you know. So and at the moment I'm just finishing off costumes for a cruise ship that they go back in November. So I'm going to just check through that, make sure all the costumes for there's quite a few shows on those ships now, and they're spectacular. I mean, the shows are amazing. It's been really nice to have a rest for 3 months, I say, but you know, the things are itching, and you know, and you want to create, and you want to. So
I mean, you know, for someone like me, I've been back. I've never left. You know, I did work from home for a couple of months, but you wouldn't have known, you know, that in TV that you could work from home for a couple of months until, you know, a global pandemic happened, and here we are. So yeah, we are all gradually getting back out there. So yeah, and I mean, it is hoped, isn't it, that by Christmas we'll be able to get you back out there and come and see some shows.
I know.
And it'll be.
But you know, you're just. But I don't know what happens. I don't know about you, but you know, even having this time off, one is as busy and as, you know, mad as ever. You know, you're like, where has this time gone? It's flown by to me. You know.
Yeah, no, I expect it has, but Anthony, I mean, it sounds like you don't ever have a dull moment. I mean, surely, how much time?
That's true.
How much time do you put into planning your Sunday dance class?
Actually, a bit more than I thought I would have to. I'll tell you why. Normally, when I'm choreographing, everyone's learning it behind me, yeah? So you go, you look at, there's a couple of dancers who are really quick at picking up what I do, and I go, oh, yeah. I have to remember the whole thing, which is like, I have learned to learn a number in my now. So I now plan it, which I never used to do, so that I can remember it. So, you know, I have to, the minute I finish one on Sunday, I start thinking about next week. It's crazy. Crazy.
So interesting, actually, because what you said, you know, how you and Dougie work really well together, and he's like the planner and you're the, you know, have to see it all and get on with it. So do you think that, you know, through this lockdown, you've kind of started to develop his skills as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, Dougie and I are very different, but we work well together, and we can also read each other's minds. What's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? I mean, Dougie is a genius at being calm, and that's what I've got to learn. Do you know what I mean? He is, when everything's going. I mean, when there's 2,000 people and 400 horses, 600 guards, and he is as calm as anywhere. I'd be going, oh my God! He is as calm as anything. So, you know, I have learned, and I do admire how he just sits there very calmly and does it. Do you know what I mean? And that's called experience. You know, so when if I ever am lucky enough to get the chance of being a Dougie, you know, I will learn his lesson, and I'll sit there and I'll have my runners running around doing all the work for me, you know, because it's being calm and being kind and being nice, you know. It's so important. It's so important. Do you know, one of the first things I ever learned, and it was from Bonnie Langford's father when I was 13, and it stayed in my mind. It was, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And I've stuck by that all the way through my career. I hope I haven't upset anyone or done anything. But you know, it's all about respect to each other. You know, to all my fellow performers, artists, designers, you know, wardrobe people. You know, we're all just as important as each other. You know, and it's so to have that attitude, for me, I think it has got me through where I am today.
Yeah, and let's face it, I mean, you know, as I said, you and Dougie are very, very different people, but, you know, you really have had an exceptional career yourself, and, you know, most people would not be able to say that, you know, you've done shows on the BBC, that you've been a dancer, you've, you know, choreographed things, you've worked in Blackpool, had an extensive career. You know, you've shown people how to dance, you can make costumes. I mean, there is actually no end to your talents, is there?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but also that can also be frightening to people. Do you know what I mean? Your reputation can be frightening because it's like, well, they can do everything. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it's still hard at the stage of my career. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody thinks you're busy all the time, so it's a hard one for us all. You know, when you see like names and you think like Judi Dench, you think, oh my God, she's just busy all the time. But you know, sometimes they're not. You know, so it's a very interesting, you know, business in that way. You know, and we all have to work hard at it. You know, and you can't stop. You know. I mean, I would never have been in a show and have let my understudy go on in case they were better than me. That's my attitude.
It's a sort of dog eat dog, I suppose, kind of industry in a way. It's obviously, you know, it's fabulous. It's show business. It's got its real highs.
But there is room for everybody's talent. Do you know what I mean? I do believe that, and I think. You know, half of it is luck. Half of it is if you're at the right place at the right time and your face fits, is another one. But I do like to think that talent actually has a major thing to do with it. Talent has a longevity in this industry, I hope. You know, I'm still as passionate about it as I was when I was 21, you know, so. And I'm still as excitable, and you know, and I love seeing the new talent of today, and I love seeing the older talent. You know, when you see an older performer, you go, "That's why they're there." Do you know what I mean? And that's what they've just got that something, and that's magic to watch. When I watch some of the older dancers in the class, and like Rosemary Ford is one that springs to mind. I mean, Rosemary was a fantastic dancer at 16, and she worked so hard at having her voice. She just didn't want to be a dancer. She wanted to be an all-rounder. And Rosemary worked and worked so hard. And there she is playing Grisabella in Cats. You know what I mean? That is called hard work and determination. And when I watch Rosemary now, she's still got it all there, the style, you know, the voice, everything. She's just fabulous. And there's a lot like that. Do you know what I mean? So I learn an awful lot from the older ones, and respect them so much for what they've been through and what, you know, they've kept it that peak, which is
Yeah,
amazing. Amazing.
absolutely. I mean, in some ways, would you say that they've possibly got more stamina than the younger ones because things were very different?
But also you learn how to do light and shade. When you're younger, you're bash, bash, bash. And I think when you're younger, you're a lot more selfish. As you get older, you get, I think it's the other way around for me. That I think when you were younger, because I was quite confident dance-wise and because I knew I could do it, I mean, I joined Wayne Sleep's company. You know, I did crazy things. I joined a ballet company for a year. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, hey-oh. And you did it to push yourself. So you didn't, but as you get older, I think you get a slightly more insecure. Where
Right.
people in the other industries get more confident, I think we get a little bit less, because you've done it when you're young. You've got the ambition and the fight and the stamina. But as you get older, you learn to be more cool and deliver from the heart. Do you know what I mean? And make it real.
Yeah. I mean, when would you say that in your career starting out, would you say that you met somebody or worked with somebody for the first time and then thought, do you know what, Anthony Johns, I have arrived?
Do you know, I still don't think I have. I would still love to do that, choreograph or direct that West End show. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what keeps you going. I don't think I've ever, I mean, yes, I've been impressed by some people that I've worked with, and some great stars. I've been really lucky, but I've always, I think the only one that comes to mind that made me go totally gaga was Diana Ross. Because I had to show her where to go and what we were doing. And she performed like this close to me, yeah? And was going, I'm coming. And I was like, I'm standing in front of Diana Ross in Wembley Stadium here, and she's looking at me for like 5 minutes. And I really thought, you know, it doesn't get much better than Diana Ross singing to you. Do you know what I mean? So I think maybe it was Diana Ross, maybe, if I look at it that way. But I still think, I think when we do the royal shows, you get a lump in your throat. We did one, the Queen's 40th at Earl's Court by the producer of Fabulous, Michael Parker. He had the set was it was Earl's Court, and the stage he had the same size as the Royal Opera House that was wheeled in and wheeled out. The whole royal family were there. It was just before Diana and Charles got divorced, so that was, you know, it was just that time. And I went back into dancing only because I wanted to see. I wanted to be that close to the royal family and dance. I think that may be one of those moments where you go, that was amazing, because it was that 2,000 horses in it. There was a huge orchestra, thousands of children, horses. It was an amazing show. I think that was pretty special. And I think the other one that really stands out for me, it has to be the VE Day in 1995 at Hyde Park. It was just tremendous. We did 3 days of entertainment down the Mall, and then this big, massive show. Was absolutely thrilling to be part of. And there's a lovely story. My favourite story of the royal family was the day there was a parade on, and when you're doing a parade down the Mall and you've choreographed it, and you've got like 1,000 children coming down, and you've got horses coming, you know, all of a sudden it hits you that you go, wow, I'm on the Mall here, and it's all these people, and you get, you know, but, you know, the planes fly past at the right moment, and the horses come in. It is an amazing feeling. But Vera Lynn, of course, on the first day sang "We'll Meet Again," don't know where, And then again the next day, there was a smaller concert at, I think it was at the Abbey. And then the next day she performed in the VE celebration at Hyde Park with, I think it was 50,000 people, something ridiculous. And the Queen Mother was, well, I believe she was told to say, she said, when Vera sings "We'll Meet Again," she certainly means it. Because it was like 3 times. So I love that. I love that story. So that was good fun. And I think the VE Day and the royal stuff is very special. You get, you know, and it's lovely. I tell you, what happens with the youngsters, the young dancers who don't know much about the royal family, that they get really into the royal family once they've done the royal event, which I've really enjoyed that. And I think I've learned from my mother. My mother's quite a historian on the royal family, so I think it's engraved in me so that I know who everyone is. So I sort of pass that on to all the dancers. That is that, and that, you know. Yeah, royal family, I think, and the Queen, I think, is the most professional person I've ever met in my life. She's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing lady, isn't she? I mean, 94 years old now, and
yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, I mean, what people don't realise is that you have been privy to is that actually what she does is works with her public all the time, doesn't she? Works with her people, and you know, imagine being 94 and still having to get out of bed, and you know, wow, the country's going through a pandemic, so I need to reach out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, when you think about, you know, like all of us who go, okay, we've got this job on and this job on and this job on, they know what they're doing in the next 2 years. Do you know what I mean? And you just go, I would like that Monday off, and she can't. Do you know what I mean? They're on show the whole time. And she's incredible. And do you know, she's got the most beautiful skin in the world. It's like a peach. So when you meet her, you go a bit gaga anyway, but you go, oh, her skin is just so beautiful. So she's quite an amazing lady. But, and she knows, she doesn't miss a trick. She knows everything, you know. So you know, like when we did in the horse show last year, we did a reel. We had to do a reel because it was part of the Balmoral section, and I had to do the correct reel because she would have known. Do you know what I mean? Because she has knowledge of so much. But we have, you know, I got the I went and learnt it from someone to say, you know, this is the one that they would have done in Queen Victoria's day. Yes. So you do your research that way because she will know, you know. So it's fascinating. So I've been very, very honoured working with Horsepower and Simon Brooks Ward and Dougie on all the events recently. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Absolutely. So yeah, what an amazing career you still have. I mean, that's quite something. I mean, that's over what? I mean, a good few years, shall we say?
Yeah. Well,
good 40 years.
Yeah. I worked it out. I've been 43. No longer. 47. Oh my God. 47 years I've been working. That's scary. Well, Bonnie must be, I mean, that since my first professional job, that is, but I've been dancing I've been dancing for 55 years. Oh my God. That's really scary. Yeah. But do you know, I still have the passion that I had when I was young, and it's only a few things that you go, oh, I can't do that now, which I do get very angry about, you know, that you get angry with yourself that you can't get your legs up or you can't get your back on the floor like you used to, you know. But then you do it with style. Yes, the word is style now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, style. You get away with style.
Well, the thing is, though, it must be hard for anyone to try and pull you up because you've had such an extensive career. They probably think it's part of a new way of moving, no?
Yeah, maybe. But I think we all grew up together and we all have respect for each other. Do you know what I mean? You learn from each other, which is, you know, to this day, I still learn everything, you know. I mean, do you know, there's Dougie is 88, and he's just discovered YouTube, right? And he doesn't, where I just watched like 3, he will sit there and go, oh, and look at this dance routine, look at this. He's got this thing about ballet at the moment, and he's collecting all this ballet information, which is amazing, which is very nice. He's set it all up for us all to watch, you know, without having to search. But he does all this searching. He's still as passionate about it, and he's at 88, you know, so there's hope for us all.
There is hope for us all, definitely. I mean,
yeah, and he still does his warm up. I mean, unfortunately, Dougie's got not very good knees, because he spent a lot of his dancing career sliding on his knees. So that, you know, we're all dreading those moments when you start getting older. I do worry about the young generation now, in that with their phenomenal techniques, what their bodies will be like with all this acro that they're doing. You know, it will. I hope not, but I hope it doesn't damage them in later life. You know, you get more careful as you're older. Touch wood. I've only had 1 injury in my career, but then I had a good ballet training. I do think if you had a good ballet training, it also sustains you through your dancing career. You know, it's like the technique that supports you, whatever style you do. But I believe today, if anybody wants to be a dancer, you know, you have to have a good ballet training. It supports you all the way through your career. And all the ones I know who've had a good ballet training haven't had the injuries. It's amazing, it really is. You know, when you've danced afterwards, you are. It does do something to you. You feel like brilliant afterwards. You know, before you start a warm up, you go, "Oh God, no, my body, I can't touch the floor," and then you go. Actually, the music starts, and you just go off on a tangent. Just mean, and I think that's the magic of it. You know, and exercise should be fun, and dancing should be fun. So, and the other thing with these classes is because they're not. When Dougie's when they know Dougie's watching, everyone gets nervous. It's really funny because they still want to please him.
Yeah.
So, you know, we go back to being, you know, like Dougie gave me a note. He went, "No, I didn't like the music this week." I was like, "What do you mean you didn't like the music?" He went, "No, it didn't do it for me this week." I was like, "Oh my God." And I'm still, you know, it's like going to the headmaster, you know, so. I was like defeated afterwards, and then I was like, I'll show him we can do it. So.
I mean, the thing is everything has gone digital now, but I mean, you can't entirely put everything digitally, and you know, you can never replace those amazing shows that you're part of every year. You know, those horse shows and yeah. So I mean, that is the one thing that we have.
I mean, there is a difference between live entertainment and on film, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? There is, to be part of it and feel part of it, you know, is a big thing.
Yeah, and it's that, you know, even from the audience's point of view. I mean, I remember last year when you know, I had the privilege of coming down to do some interviews at Windor Pageant and watching you all rehearse, and you know, listening to the music and you all out there giving it your all. It's, you know, it does bring goose pimples to the skin, doesn't it? It brings little bumps to the skin. It's like, whoa, there's something, you know, really amazing is happening here. That's visual, that's so alive, and to be, you know, in the same room as performers is you can't beat that. You can't replicate that.
No. Yeah, like when we do those royal shows and you see, you know, 100 guards come out with the horses, you just go, wow, it's just so impressive. You know, I mean, those shows, when you think about it, there's animals, soldiers, there's everything but the kitchen sink, and it's quite remarkable. Yeah, you watch it with pride and you go, wow, that is, you know, amazing. You know, yeah, it's very special, very special.
Thank you so much for coming on Tea Time with Ali Monjack.
Oh, my pleasure.
I really enjoyed chatting away about your extensive and very vibrant career that still goes on now.
I've had a bit of verbal diarrhea, I think.
You're allowed to have. It's
right.
It's good to talk, as they say, definitely. So
yeah, because you do know, one has noticed that in this last 3 months, I'm not great on the telephone. I don't like telephones. So I've done message to everyone, but then the other day, I saw my dear friends from Blackpool came down, and we did a catch up, and I hadn't spoken for, like, as much, and I was like, words weren't coming out of my mouth. So today I thought, oh my God, I hope I can speak all right. So I've realised I can.
Yeah, you're all right, Anthony. You're all right. Yeah. So you're not on your own in the dance class, yeah?
You're just in a room on your own. It's very odd. It's very odd. Yeah. But I think now am I on week 15 or 16? I think I've got used to it, Because I started it off, just to cheer everyone up. And then they went, oh, it's really made my week. It's really made my week. So I thought, well, I better do it weekly then. And that's where we are, so. But one day I've got big barn doors, and it was a really hot day. And I had that, because if you saw my my unit, it's in an old airfield. It's a bit like Dad's army, yeah? So I'm in a dome like that. It used to be, as I said, an airfield. And I had the barn doors open. And there was me doing my workout. And of course, all the farmers and all the other people from the other unit on a Sunday came and watched me. And I was like, I can't stop because it was live. So, yeah, that was, they all look at me in a different way now. Bless them. Oh, I'm the madman.
Who cares? At least you gave them a show. Probably brightened up their Sunday. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well,
well, lovely to chat.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming on Tea Time with Ali Monjack. Bye for now.